All right, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and to the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. All right, in today's lesson, we're gonna go into this, second shutdowns, martial law. All right, the next pandemic, if you will. So right here it says, it's a little article from Newsweek says who direct their issues warning on next pandemic. All right, and it's just a little article here because also to the People's Voice also said that the next pandemic can be tomorrow. Because it can be anything can happen at any time. You gotta remember, because we're in the time of judgment. So remember, the Lord is gonna allow these elites to give it one last hoorah, because they have that window to bring chaos. And the Lord created the wicked for the day of evil, and so remember they're gonna bring things. There's gonna be stuff that's gonna happen out here. All right, but because that's part of judgment, because the Lord's gonna use the wicked to judge the wicked. But remember, the elect are gonna be in the midst of that, but they're gonna be saved from that. Right here it says World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that the next pandemic, the world, see, because remember, it's a new world order, so the whole world, we get on America a lot, but it's because there's a lot that's gonna happen with America, but it's the world. Remember, it's the whole world. It's not like, oh, let's just move over there. No, it's the whole world, because remember, these elites are gonna, they want their new world order, but also the Lord is judging the whole planet, so it concerns everybody. The world will face is not a theoretical risk, but an epidemiological certainty. All right, so right here it says why it matters. Health organizations have been concerned by the world being enveloped another pandemic after the C-19 struck globally in 2020, killing millions of people, and sparkling economic and political upheaval. So that's why this is it's gonna affect a lot of people. Remember, because it's gonna get very uncomfortable out here. So remember, like that first pandemic, a lot of people lost their businesses, or they barely held on. So and remember, Bill Gates told you out of his own mouth, if the first one didn't get your attention, the second one will. This is why these elites like Carl Schwab, he straight out gets on national television, and remember, he said that this year 6 billion people are gonna go. Whoever doesn't want to, so it could happen the end of this year or at the beginning of next year. But so these elites are straight telling you that they're bringing something. You see, and how do these elites just get away with that? Because the Lord has them on reserve, because they're gonna be able to bring chaos to get that new world order going. Just a little bit. They're not gonna finish it, but they are gonna bring chaos across the world. They're gonna starve a lot of people out. They're gonna do a lot. Remember, the Lord's allowing it. The Lord created them to do it. Because that's even better. Because it's not just ultimately up to them. The Lord created them to do that. Okay, the Lord controls both sides, the wicked and the righteous. All right, because Satan is the son of the Lord, but on the left hand side, Yahweh Shai is the son of Yahweh, but on the right hand side. Yahweh controls both sides. There's left-hand angels and right-hand angels, but you got to understand. All right, so and that's it. You guys should keep reading. I'm gonna hit the scriptures now, but just to show you that we're in that time. All right, so not only is the Lord gonna be, not only is the Lord gonna be, well, let's do it like this. Not only is these elites gonna, cause chaos around the world, but the Lord is bringing judgments too. So it's double. All right, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. All right, so rejoice. To the elect, rejoice. So to the hopeful elect who have hope in the Lord, because this is why you have to, pay attention, because that way you know what's coming, why it's coming. All right, the Lord is controlling both sides, because it kind of like, takes some weight off your shoulders. At least it should, because now at least you know why. Okay, like why it's happening. All right, the Lord's controlling it. It's because it's part of judgment. Some of the elect have to be caught up in there. There is going to be some martyrs, remember? All right, so I just have to tell you that again, because some of you say, well, yeah, I've known that already. But remember, there's always newcomers. There's people who are just 11th hour Israelites, people who want to learn. Because, we can't say like, oh, everyone's going to make it. And then some martyrs get taken out and they're like, hey, what happened? I thought you said the elect were good. You got nothing to worry about. So this is what we have to cover, all bases. That way you guys know exactly what to expect. Because there is going to be some elect who has to die for this thing. All right? They will probably get their head chopped off, whatever. Okay, persecuted, there are going to be some. But that's going to be few compared to the masses. Because we already went through that. Remember, all the times of old, all the prophets were slain. All the prophets, except John the Revelator. All right? Facts. But so remember, this time the elect are going to win. All right? But we have to tell you that because the Lord has his elect. Okay? And, their household, like their children, whoever, is worthy. All right? Because you can have some of the elect members, but their children don't believe, So, but there are some where their children do believe. Because you got cases like that. You got cases where you have elect members, but their family don't believe, But you got some elect members, but their family do believe. See? All right. Case in point, check it out. Remember Lot's wife. So did the Lord save Lot's wife? Say, oh, you know what? Well, that's Lot's wife. She looked back, but you know what? I'm going to cover her anyway because Lot's my boy. No. He turned into a pillar of salt. Just to let you know, just because like you're a member of the elect, and there's a lot. There's a lot of cases like that out there where like, oh yeah, well my family don't believe, or even like the hopeful elect, like their children don't believe. It's just the way it is, because the Lord selects. All right, yeah, that's just the way it is. But ultimately, all Israel is gonna be all right in the kingdom. It's just that right now the Lord's only coming for 144,000 and the 1/3 of all the Israelites scattered across the earth. But that's like it's a small number compared to the world, but that's still millions. Because there's so many Israelites out there. Okay, the Lord says like we're like the sand of the sea. All right, so can you imagine? There's a lot. There's millions. Okay, therefore rejoice, ye heavens. This is Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens. So rejoice, Israelites. Rejoice because it's like when you go get your college degree. Like yeah, you got to go through all the studying and damn, but at the end of the day, you got that college degree. Now you can go get a good paying job or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. Just in another word. Because some people say, oh, fucking college is a waste of time. I still haven't got hired. All right, but you know what I'm saying. All right, generally speaking, because there are cases like that when people go to college and they still don't end up getting no job. But, for the most cases they do, because at least they had that degree, you know what I'm saying? It helps out with their resume, you know what I'm saying? It helps. So it's just like that. It's like, yeah, okay, like when you want to get that degree, it's like, damn, man, I got to sacrifice, I got to study and do all that. But at the end of it, you got that degree. Same thing with the elect, because like, shit, we're all about to go through it. All right, famines, persecutions, whatever, wars, seeing a lot of stuff, maybe another pandemic, a lot of stuff's going to happen. All right. So, but we got to go through that in order to get the kingdom, you know. And ye that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth. See that? So everybody. Okay, so the Lord is telling us through John the Revelator, right here. Woe unto the inhabitants, so everybody. All right, woe meaning destruction, you know, but also even to the wicked, yeah, they're gonna be destroyed. But to the righteous, it's like woe. So rejoice, but also like caution, beware, take heed, repent, because it's about to go down out here in a very serious way. This ain't just like a little thing where, all right, the world's gonna kind of go at war for a little while and then it's gonna bounce back. No, remember the Creator is coming with the angels. It's a very heavy time. It's like the time of the flood, like the time of Exodus. This is a big thing. This ain't just America is gonna have a little civil war and they're gonna go to war for a little while with Russia and we'll bounce back. We'll be all right. Nah, this is the Lord is coming. Yahweh Shai is coming. Yahweh is gonna send his son Yahweh Shai down here. Remember, he's not just gonna like show his face in the sky and oh, hey, that's the Lord right there. He's coming down here, 10 toes down on the ground. He's coming down here, you guys. That's what you gotta understand. It ain't no light thing, And of the sea for the devil, okay, not talking about some red reptile with a pitchfork waiting underneath the ground. It's talking about the Edomites. All right. For the devil, because devil means deceiver, false accuser. Because who's lying to the world about everything? The Edomites, okay? Starting with the international bankers, the global elite, if you will. You know what I'm saying? For the devil has come down unto you. See? Because for that new world order, they're coming down unto you guys, the world. Because it's not, they're not in for your best interests. Although they say, yeah, it's the new thing and you just don't get it. No, nigga, you don't get it. All right? Now these elites want to, they want to pretend and they hear that the Lord's coming and, now they're even looking at some Israelites like, hey, man, we got to do something about it. Like, what do you mean we? All of a sudden, all of a fucking sudden, I thought we were niggas and wetbacks. It's like, nah, nigga, you guys got to do something. Okay, the Lord's coming back for his elect. All right, for the Israelites. Okay, the elect of the Israelites. So now, that's why, like, you Israelites who are teamed up with Esau and these heathens, you're retards. Remember, because they hate you. All right, they're just using you right now. So if they look at us like, oh, we got to do something. Like, nah, nigga, you got to do something. You're the one who going into slavery, not us. See that? The Lord's coming back for you. Yeah, we may not make it, but we're repenting. We're trying to make it with the Lord, At least the Lord is, he's an Israelite like us. You guys, because now these heathens and Edomites are like, shit, we got to do something. We got to move. Nah, nigga, you got to fucking do something. Not us. And we're just going to watch you guys. Remember that, It's like, oh, all of a sudden, 'cause I thought we were niggas and wetbacks and all that. Now you're like, oh, this is the end, we gotta prep. No, you gotta prep. The Lord's coming for your behind. See? The Lord's coming back to pick up his children and those spaceships. So don't look at us, like expect us to help you heathens and Edomites. You guys never helped us. Now we get to laugh at you. Because now you're prepping, buying underground bunkers, getting weapons, scrambling like roaches. And it's funny, All we gotta do is just sit back and laugh at you. We're laughing at you heathens. And at the same time, you guys are bombing the shit out of each other too, So we're just laughing because we're seeing you guys be destroyed right before our eyes. Facts. And we don't need much to be happy out here, because the Spirit of the Lord will comfort the elect. So we're rejoicing because we're seeing the fall of our enemies right before our eyes. We're seeing them get nervous, and it's funny, So yeah, they kind of looking at us like, oh, we gotta do something. Nah, nigga, you guys gotta do something. We're just gonna sit back and laugh at your asses. Okay, for the devils come down unto you because they're coming with that new world order, the draconian laws, legislatives, their executive orders. They're coming with it because they know, having great wrath. Why? Because he knoweth that because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Why? Because a few years back, and I think Switzerland, over there they have the CERN, right? They open up CERN, and they were found weighed in a balance, so they got tackled, which means that their time is up. Also they they also have, because the writings on the wall. Also the prophets are telling them your time is up. You know, so they know, they see the spaceships. Okay, the prophets out there is the evident token that they're at their end. Just look, they have the they have they have their what do you call it? Their ICBMs pointing at each other, and the Israelites, we got no part in that. That's the heathens. That's our enemies, ladies and gentlemen, pointing ICBMs at each other. We can care less. Remember, the so-called white man, along with Ham, Ishmael, you guys brought us over here in slave ships. So we can give a damn if these nations nuke the shit out of each other. Excuse my Italian. We don't give a damn. We can care less. This is not our home. We were brought over here forcefully, 1619, transatlantic slave trade. To build up America for free, and the Israelites still haven't reaped none of the benefits. See that? And now the Edomites say, "Well, go back to your country." It's like, well, fucking take us back. You brought us over here, you dumbass. You know what I'm saying? It's like, take us back. But we're not worried about that, because in St. Matthew tells us that the Lord's going to take us back, but in spaceships. Remember that, to the elect out there, that the Lord, we came over here in slave ships, but we're going back in spaceships. We're going back in style. So rejoice, Akim and Aqua. Remember, it's gonna get tough out here, no doubt. It's gonna get harder for it's gonna get better. But this is why you have to be grounded in this truth. That way, like, no matter what, you're gonna be in this thing. No matter what comes your way. So when that wind blows, it's kind of like a strong tree. When a tree don't have its roots that strong, it's gonna blow over. But when you have strong roots, yeah, you make totter from side to side, but at the end of the day, that tree's still gonna be standing because it has strong roots, a strong foundation, and that's where your faith comes in, ladies and gentlemen. So you gotta have that faith, because it's normal. Okay, people, you're gonna go through problems. You're gonna get a little nervous. Things happen. Shit happens. But at the end of the day, if you don't have that faith, you're gonna be cast away to the side, to the wayside. But if you have that faith, you're gonna be all right, even if you just have a little. Remember, the Lord says a little that a righteous have is better than a lot that the wicked has. Because even though the wicked have $1 million houses and whatever, what do they call it, like equity and whatever, real estate, money, inheritance, that's cool and all, but the thing is that that's not going to profit them in these time of judgments. All right, it's not going to profit them. So although somebody don't have too much money, but they have the Lord, you're golden, because remember, these houses are going to be good for nothing, and the military are going to be active out here real soon. So they're going to drag people out of their houses, because once the military needs certain houses in certain areas, people have to get out of their houses. Especially this time of martial law, anarchy, and all that. Okay, people are going to go house to house. So people who have like their houses, they're all established and all that, it's good for nothing, because this place, America, is about to be a complete war zone. All right, people are about to get dragged out of their houses. So those who don't really have it like that are going to be looking for shelter. Those of you that have houses, you're going to have to fight for dear life just to protect it. You're not going to be in there just chilling like, oh yeah, we're good, honey. Hell no. Because people are, if they know that you're in there and you have substance, your wife, your children, because people will eat your children. People will eat you. You got a wife, they'll grape your wife. The UN troops are known for grape. Okay, you know how many? There's millions of UN troops all throughout America ready for the New World Order, and they're known for great facts. You know, a lot of you are gonna witness them grape your wives in front of you. You know, hey, I don't really want to go into that, but it's real. That is the reality of war. All right, especially wherever the UN's at. The UN troops, they're known for that. Okay, and there's millions here. All right, and there's a lot more. There's militias. There's a lot of teams here. There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot here. Remember, you got Iranians here, Russians, Chinese, Arabs, ISIS, you name it. So imagine everybody out here. It's lawless, and especially in America, everyone's pushing, all about, being a badass and all that. You got nothing but rebels out here, nothing but, want to be gangsters and all that. They may not be as tough as soldiers, but you got people like that. Everyone's all about me, and I'm gonna sleep with that person's wife and husband. So people already don't have good morals. Yes, you still have a few righteous out here, right? Of course, but that number is small compared to the masses. Everybody else is out here just trying to get it how they live. They don't give a shit. Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, shall lift up a standard against him. So let's break this down, because this is saying a lot here, okay? Isaiah chapter 59 verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai from the west. Because something else that is happening right now that is freaking our enemies out, the elites, the heathen, they're bugging out. Because why? Because the children of Israel are waking back up, and they thought, like, not even in a million years, because they thought they had it. They're like, hey, we got it in the bag, we got it. They're never waking up again. Remember, the Lord's intervening, so it don't matter if they have everybody on their payroll, all these teams out here. I mean, that's cool for them. But remember, there's divine intervention. There's something called the angels. Okay, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. Remember that our enemies are retarded, you guys. Just because they get mad and they have control of things right here, and that's this world. All right. Remember, there's other realms out there. There's angelic forces out there. See, and his glory from the rising of the sun, because the Lord is gonna come from the east. Okay, the Lord is going to show up in the Middle East first. You see? When the enemy shall come in like a flood. See that? So the Lord's clearly telling you. So who's going to come in like a flood? What their, Gurger troops, martial law troops. Because you have New World Order police out here. Okay, you have all kinds of agents out here. All right, you have different agents who are just taking notes. And you got New World Order police out here, You got New World Order agents. Yeah, you got a lot of people out here. There's a lot of people out here. It's crazy. You got nothing but spies watching spies watching spies. Not only that, you got clones. You got a lot out here. It's freaking crazy, It's like a Catalina wine mixer. But anyways, so when the enemy shall come in like a flood, because remember, this New World Order is not for your benefit. See, this is why a lot of Americans, remember the other day they were protesting over there in the Capitol and all throughout the United States, hands off, because they're talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, because now they're seeing like, yeah, hey, this shit, they're not really here for our benefit. See? Okay, and that's just the little guys. Imagine the top elites for the New World Order. They really don't care about the people at all. They're gonna exterminate them. Okay, remember, their goal is to get rid of roughly around 6 billion people. Because it goes back to the Georgia Guidestones. They want to get the population down to 500 million. So are you part of that small club? I don't think so. Even though if you say, yeah, I like Esau, you're down for the New World Order. Remember, they're not down for you. They could look at you and say, oh, that's cute. But they don't give a shit. Your ass is gone. All right? A lot of you say, oh, no, that's not true. Well, you're going to find out, And we're going to be laughing at you when they put your head in the guillotine. See, with us, if they put our head in the guillotine, we expect it. Okay, because we speak against the New World Order, we're frontliners for the Lord, and whatever happens to us, so be it, If we're here, we're gonna warn the hopeful elect. we're gonna teach the word, but if we gotta be put out, that's fine. We're not gonna be crying and whining like, oh no, no shit. What it is, what it is. If we're here, we're gonna do the work. If we gotta go, we know how that. We're not gonna whine and have a fist about it because we know how death works. See, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, so the New World Order is not in. They're not for your benefit. A lot of you guys are gonna find out the hard way. Remember, Klaus Schwab said, "Those of you humans," he said it on national television. "Those of you humans who don't want to merge with AI will soon be extinct." So it doesn't mean you're gonna get a penalty. Remember the first pandemic when people didn't take that juicy juice. Remember in the beginning they said, okay, well you're not, whoever don't take it, some of you are gonna have to lose your jobs. Some of you can't go to concerts and stuff like that. Remember? All right, but it's not gonna be just like that. Like, okay, well you're gonna be penalized. No, they're gonna actually put you to death. Children, grandma, grandpa. All right, it's part of that New World Order, the NWO. See? All right, when the enemy, see, the Lord's saying they're your enemy because they're not in for your best interest. They say, oh yeah, it's the new thing. You just don't get it. Nah, nigga, you don't get it. We get it. Okay, that's why we tell Esau, shove it up your rear end, because we know his plans, because our big brother Yahushua created him. Okay, and the angels and the Lord knows their thoughts. He even knows what they're thinking. So they can't try to pull a fast one with us, like, oh, like, yeah, all right, they're out here cloning senior citizens, but somehow they're gonna like us and say, oh yeah, but we like you though, we're gonna trust you with affairs. Yeah, all right, you guys are out here cloning senior citizens, huh? But somehow, but we're cool. Oh, all of a sudden, all of a fucking sudden, because we know Esau's tactics. Like, yeah, all right, homeboy. Yeah, right, SA. When the enemy shall come in like a flood. So that's why the elect can't be compromised. Because we know how Esau moves, Esau hates the Israelites. And same thing, the Israelites hate Esau. Alright? The elect, alright, because the two-thirds are wimps. Okay, they're sellouts. Let me find out that you're afraid of a wizard. Do you have any idea how ridiculous that sounds? No, let's hear it. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, see? Because they're not in for your best benefit. They're not in for your best interest. Okay, they're here. They're coming to destroy. Yeah. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, because once they start moving, all right, like a flood, because they're gonna overwhelm you, because it's overwhelming. Especially those of you that are not paying attention. You think, oh yeah, right, Esau's not like that. Hey, just let bygones be bygones. Slavery was in the past. That's fine. That's why we don't even get mad at you, because Esau's gonna slaughter you. Okay, even if like some of you agents that sold out to him, celebrities and all that, they're gonna kill you too. So that's why we don't gotta get all mad and say, oh well, please believe us. And nah, we don't give a damn. We don't give a damn, because we know what Esau's plans are. We know what's gonna happen to you. So like, go for it. You wanna follow Esau, but that's death right there. You wanna go for it, go for it. That's like someone saying, I'm gonna jump off that cliff. Fucking go for it. So what's gonna happen if someone jumps off that cliff? You're gonna be destroyed. Same thing with those of you that are following E. You're gonna be destroyed. So like, go ahead. If you wanna go off that cliff, go for it. But we're watching with a smile, because we told you, hey, don't jump off that cliff. But you guys are like, no, I'm gonna jump. Fucking go for it. Go for it, so we can laugh at your ass. You think we're gonna shed a tear and be like, oh no, we already told you, don't do it. You're the one being willingly ignorant. You're saying, no, I'm gonna trust E. That's cool. We ain't gonna get all mad and go for it. We ain't gonna try to bother your day or anything. Go for it. You can have all the room you got. You can have all the room you want. You want to follow Esau? Go for it. But remember, we're laughing at you. Because remember, he is the wicked. Don't be crying to us when he clones your ass, has your ass in the dungeon. We're going to laugh at you. Like, oh no, you don't know Esau. He's my boy. He's your boy. Oh, we're gonna see when he puts your ass in the cage. You know, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. See, because flood, because it overwhelms you. It doesn't mean that he's gonna come in and just put a bunch of water on you. You know, come in with super soakers. You know, with water guns. No, because a flood, it's overwhelming. You know, so they're coming in deep. You know, with androids, UN troops, draconian laws, martial law, everything. They're about to shut this bad boy down. Remember how the elites shut down the whole world during the first pandemic? Remember, they got the whole world in control. So this is why, like, the so-called white man, he doesn't need to be out here and say, oh, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you. He doesn't have to act tough with you. Okay, why is that? Because he controls the whole world. All he has to do is just cut you off. See, he don't have to be like, oh, okay, I'll show you. He don't have to get like that, because he controls everything. See, so that's why he ain't tripping. You know, whoever's like, okay, whoever wants to go. That's why Esau, shit, he's drinking a coffee. He has his legs crossed. Like, I don't give a fuck. Whoever don't want to go along with my agenda, you know, I'm cutting them off. You know, that's it. Off with their head. Sakalo ayi. See, because Esau ain't tripping. He's like, all right, yeah, fuck it. You don't want to follow me? You know, you're going to find out, you know. Because Esau's not tripping because he has the whole world in control. So if you don't want to go along with his program, shit, he'll just cut you off. You know, and then what are you going to do? See? When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai shall lift up a standard against them. Right. So that's the good part. Okay, for those of the righteous out there, check this out. Here's the flip side. Because it's twofold. It's not that Esau and the New World Order is just going to jack up everybody. No. He's going to jack up everybody who the Lord allows. But he can't get the elect. Alright? Only a few. Remember, he can only get a few that the Lord says, okay, yeah, you can get him. But that's just for a test. Him or her. Alright? Because there's elect ladies too. Of Israel, the daughters of Zion. Alright? Shout out to the women out there who are holding it down. Okay, to the sisters out there, hey, it's much respect. Remember that, okay? Because we don't hate women, all right? Just because some of the men of the Lord don't hook up with women and stuff like that, doesn't mean that, you know, we love our women, you know? We're out here to risk our lives for you, all right? Just because, you know, we don't get in relationships and stuff like that doesn't mean that we hate women. It's just that, because this is a very serious job. You know, but there'll never be a time where a daughter of Zion will ask us a question and we'll say, hey, get out of here. You're a woman, you know, get out of here. Nah, never. Never like that. All right. So don't get confused. Like, you know, just because some brothers don't get in relationships, you know, we don't hate women at all. You know, we're here for the men, women, and children. Remember that, you know. So that's just to let you guys know out there. But however the world paints us and says something about us, that's on them. But, you know, we'll never, like, you know, if a woman tries to talk to us and say, even if, like, let's say even if she's a 2/3, you know, unless she starts mouthing off, then we'll say, get out of here. But, you know, we're always, like, respectful to everybody, even the non-believers. Like, you know, we'll hear them out, okay, whatever. But it's when they want to start talking trash and stuff, then we have to rebuke them, or we're just kind of avoid them. But even them, like the 2/3, we still talk to you guys. There's no problem. You know, we're not like, oh, get out of here. Like, nah, just unless like you're like getting crazy and stuff. But if you got a question, they'll never be like, oh no, you're a woman, get out of here. Nah, man. You know, we're good to our women. You know what I'm saying? The daughters of Zion out there. You gotta remember that. All right, those of you that are fighting, because we're in the trenches just like you. You know, I mean, because there's no guarantee that we're gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, shall lift up a standard against them. Because right there, all right, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them, meaning spiritual power. All right, the spirit of the Lord, see? Because spiritual power is about to be activated out here, ladies and gentlemen, very soon, because these devils are about to roll. And beautiful, that's why we're waiting. Because when Esau makes his move, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai is going to make his move with the angels. He's going to activate the 144,000. So we can't wait. You know? Imagine seeing that. I mean, imagine Esau already has stuff on the left-hand side that this world hasn't seen, like robotics, killer drones, stuff like that. Imagine they have a lot of technology that this world is not ready for. Okay, how much on the right hand side? Spiritual power and all that. Men with laser eyes flying out here. Can you imagine? It's very exciting. Because remember, there's two sides, not just the left hand side. The right hand side's out here too. Imagine that. Somebody out here like Black Adam, controlling thunder and all that, lightning and all that stuff, with laser eyes, controlling the elements like Aang, like the last Airbender. Imagine that, like controlling water and bending the earth and all that, all that stuff like that. Controlling air bending and all that. Imagine that, you know, turning water into ice like Sub-Zero. Imagine that. You guys are actually gonna see that stuff, people like, them able to move stuff just with their mind. They'll be able to pick up a car with just, remember like Magneto and X-Men, how he was able to pick up those cars with just his mind. The 144,000 can do that. You imagine that? It's gonna be crazy, This is why we're excited. All right, because remember, the righteous out there, you guys have help. Remember, it's not just all doom and gloom. Because if you don't, that's why if you don't get into these scriptures, if you don't understand that the Lord's here to help you too, for the hopeful elect, then you're gonna think, oh yeah, it's all over. We're all gonna die. The elites are coming for everybody. If you're not down with their new world order, that's it. You're done. Fuck no. Okay, excuse my Italian, but hell no. All right, hell with Esau. He's just a man. He only got the halftime show. Okay, the angels and the 144,000 and Yahushua got the rest. Remember that. They only have a small little window to bring in that little chaos. They're just the little guys. They're just the little guys. All right. Remember that. There's a power much more superior than these clowns. All right. Let me find out you're afraid of Esau, huh? So I can laugh at you. Let me find out, mija. Let me find out, mija. You're better than that, huh? You're better than that. Cut it out. Just cut it. Don't even start, you guys. A lot of you guys are misbehaving. I'm telling you. Huh? The spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shai shall lift up a standard against them. Because, right, what that means is that when the Lord makes his move, right, Yahweh Shai is gonna make his move. So that's a very it's a very beautiful thing, because the Lord is gonna step in. All right, he's gonna intervene, literally. And let's say like the angels are not there, or he don't activate the 144,000. The Lord can still perform miracles. The Lord can do stuff. The Lord can do a lot of things. The Lord can like go in these like, let's say the UN troops. Like, let's say the UN troops are surrounding your house, whatever. The Lord's so powerful, he can just have them all like just change their mind. He can have them all like just drop dead. The Lord can do a lot of things, many things. So that's what's coming. Miracles, spiritual power. Imagine that. And the world hasn't seen that for thousands of years. Since the time of King David, Samson, Elijah, rain down fire from heaven. Remember that. All right. So that's, the world's already seen the orbs, the so-called UFOs. They're magnificent, right? Because you can't even explain it. Like, damn, well, how do they work? I mean, shoot, So the power that's going to be manifest here on the earth, spiritual power, is going to be just like that. Because people are going to be like, dang. Because, like, imagine seeing that, you guys. Like, something like on X-Men. Like someone out here like Thor. Somebody out here like Black Adam. Like Superman. Imagine that. You imagine? It would be crazy, I mean, I'm shoot, I'm excited, but it's like, man, because to actually, imagine actually seeing that, Hey. Because it's so powerful, there's so much power that it's like, man, like you won't even be able to believe your eyes. Like, damn, imagine that. And this power, that's why a lot of people, well, the 2/3, they laugh at it. The world laugh at it, like, yeah, right. These dudes are going to be superheroes. Yeah, right. These dudes are going to be flying. Get out of here. Now you guys are talking shit, See, because it's so beautiful. It's so marvelous that the world can't receive it. Because they're like, yeah, right, but that's on them. But, the world, you guys already are seeing the ships. So what's your excuse for that, But that's that's the thing, Esau can say whatever, that they're aliens, whatever, but okay, but check this out. So this is what we're waiting for, because all Esau's lies, all everybody's doubt and all that, once the men of the Lord start flying out here, then Esau, he ain't gonna be able to say anything. Okay, how the news gonna cover up that story? They can't. Okay, so everything, all the lies go out the window in a matter of seconds. All right, and that's what we're waiting for, because we're right now, we're in the proving grounds. All right, because Esau's dumbass, excuse my Italian, he wants to fight the Lord, okay, which is completely insane. But the right hand side is gonna show out their power, 144,000. Because I know there's some so-called white man out there like, yeah, right, prove it. It's gonna be proved very soon. Fact, it's gonna be proved very soon. Because a lot of them are like, yeah, right. Now you're going way too far. Well, you'll see. The whole world's gonna see real soon. All right. Yeah, that's why like the real men of the Lord, they don't need like weapons and prep and all that stuff. Nothing. The men of the Lord literally have like your basic essentials and just their Bible. That's it. That's it. The prophets don't got like no secret military hangout, and there's an underground bunker over here. Nothing. Okay, nothing. All right, that's just to show you, that there's absolutely no fear of the left hand side when it comes down to the men of the Lord, because they're literally out here with nothing, still laughing at our enemies, with nothing. Imagine that, because remember, the right hand side is far stronger. Okay, yeah, and that's facts. That's something that because the Lord is he's that powerful. So that's it on today's lesson, you guys. Stay on your watch, and that's just something that's gonna happen very soon. Hyperinflation, but not only that, because remember, not only wars, but remember other pandemics. Okay, pestilence. There's gonna be more stuff happening out here. Like the first pandemic. Remember, Bill Gates told you out of his own mouth. You don't even gotta hear it from the prophets. These elites are straight telling you, if the first one didn't get your attention, the second one will. They're straight telling they're coming for the world. Remember, Klaus Schwab said that if those humans who don't want to merge with AI will soon be extinct. So it doesn't mean like they're just gonna have a punishment and you're gonna lose some benefits. No, they're planning to kill people out here. They got New World Order troops out here. They got New World Order police out here who are watching everything. You see? There's a lot that they have out here, but we're not going to go too far into that because that's the left-hand side. Remember that. The stage is yours. Go ahead, to the Dukes of Edom. The Lord's word is the Lord's word. We only just say, okay, what's out here, but we're not going to say, oh, this dude's an agent, No, we're not going to be all like that, because the Lord gave his word, to the Dukes of Edom. Remember, the stage is yours. Go ahead, tear shit up, have a ball. But we got to tell the masses, just general information. You know what I'm saying? But just because the men of the Lord don't release certain stuff doesn't mean that they don't know. Okay, remember, because the angels are they see everything. But basically, yeah, the New World Order, they're really gonna, they're really gonna bring, chaos and stuff like that around the world. All right, so with that, take heed. And so yeah, we're about to enter hyperinflation, and then not only that, you have maybe another pandemic. Who knows what it's gonna be? I mean, who knows? Like what it's gonna be exactly? But oh, remember, don't forget. All right, zombies. All right, these elites. I don't know. It may came from China, whoever, but whoever the elites, just put it like that. Just know that people will be turned into zombies out here. All right, that's for real. All right, that is for sure. That's coming. And I'm not too sure how they're gonna do it, but the elites. But that's gonna go down out here. Remember, the left-hand side has a lot of stuff planned, and they have the green light to do it. So, you kidding me? Imagine like the left-hand side, the wicked, planning all this stuff, And they're also hearing it from the Lord, like, yeah, go ahead. You have a green light, tear shit up. You don't think these dudes are gonna go crazy out here? Dude, they're gonna go freaking bananas. And they have a green light to say, go ahead, fuck shit up. You imagine? You know? So they're telling the Lord, oh yeah, we can do anything we want, whatever you want, to the left hand side, just not to the elect. But everything else, they're all yours. 2/3, they're all yours. You know? Go for it. You know? Eat them alive. Go for it. Huh? You know? Okay, so with that, that concludes today's lesson, and just know that more serious times are coming. Okay, just know that more serious times are coming. All right, and just keep on, just keep on doing, you know, just keep on watching, because that's how you measure the times. Okay, you measure the times by, watching what's happening around the world. Okay, you see nations, you know, um, nations gathering. Remember the Lord says, nation against nation. That's what you're seeing right now from NATO, Russia. Okay, so with that, stay on your guys' watch. All right, and know that time is close. All right, of martial law, pandemics, whatever. Okay, just know that those things are gonna happen. So back to the beginning of this lesson, we were saying that yeah, because you have from the people's voice. All right, they're saying that the next pandemic can possibly happen tomorrow, just to show you that we're that close to anything happening. All right, because not only is the Lord gonna bring judgments, but the left hand side has a green light to bring chaos across the world. So it's gonna be the world's gonna get it from both sides. All right, so you imagine it's that serious out here. That's how much stuff's gonna be happening out here. You see? All right. So with that, take heed, repent, and know that the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is very near. Okay. So with that, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. On your feet, soldier. Shalom.